point in some of the aerial activity.
The Los Angeles night sky. It's a dreadful sight. Spots of wildfires can be seen burning around Los Angeles County as a firefighting helicopter flies past. Here's a closer look at the raging wildfires. There is another aerial night view of the county showing efforts to contain the fire. Aerial bombardments of the wildfires with water and fire retardant being done to stem its eastward spread. During the day, one can see thick plumes of smoke sweeping across hills and burnt hillsides. Here's a helicopter view of California's Santa Monica Mountains wildfire. The pilot can be seen navigating through smoke billowing from the mountainside. Satellite imagery captured before and after the California wildfires reveals the extent of the devastation.
Come on, guys! We gotta go!
Since the first fire erupted on 7th January, the death toll has been rising. Tens of thousands of people have been evacuated and thousands of structures have gone forever. Homes, schools, shops, businesses, and places of worship that had stood for decades are no longer there, all wiped out in minutes. This is the Palisades wildfire, the largest of the major fires ravaging Los Angeles County. It was the first to erupt and could soon be becoming the most destructive in state history. The others are Eaton Fire, that struck the northern part of Los Angeles, and Hurst Fire, which is located just north of San Fernando. The earlier Kenneth, Archer, Sunset, Lydia, Woodley, and Oliver's fires have been contained. Homeless victims are inconsolable, brooding over the loss of their hearth and home. Many are overwhelmed by the scale of the destruction caused, and some are desperately trying to keep their homes out of harm's way.
Thinking about where am I going to live? Because even if our building is standing, there's nothing nearby. The air quality is terrible. I feel for people who don't have the privilege like me to be okay and feel safe. And I mean, it's just one thing after another. They won't let us breathe. And yeah. And it's, 10 days into the year?
We need our governments to be more proactive about these wildfires. They're happening every single several times a year. There must be some things we can do to try to mitigate this, please.
It's just pretty devastating. This is pretty devastating. I don't think LA's seen anything like this before.
Firefighters are racing against the clock in their days-long battle against the wildfires, but gusting winds threaten to undo the progress they've made in fighting the flames.
These winds, combined with low humidities and low fuel moistures, will keep the fire threat in all of Los Angeles County very high.
The part I really wanted to convey on tonight's session is that this isn't over yet.
Los Angeles residents are scared that winds could whip up the flames.
We're absolutely terrified. We've left everything behind. We have no insurance. We stand to lose everything if the winds blow the fire back into Topanga and it burns the whole of Fernwood and Topanga down. So we're just praying and hoping that doesn't happen, but we're very scared.
Among the thousands of structures leveled by the wildfires are homes of several celebrities in the Pacific Palisades. Oscar-winning film stars Mel Gibson, Jeff Bridges, and Sir Anthony Hopkins lost their homes to the wildfires raging in the LA area. Paris Hilton, Billy Crystal, Adam Brody, and Milo Ventimiglia, the list is long. Hilton posted a video on social media of a Malibu home gutted beyond recognition. Her mid-century beach house, now in a shambles, was purchased in 2021 for over $8 million. It was the site where her son Phoenix took his first steps. Mandy Moore too shared videos of smoke-filled skies and destroyed buildings from her Altadena neighborhood. This is her Instagram post, grieving the loss of her children's school and favorite restaurants. Actor Cameron Matheson shared an Instagram video of his destroyed home, walking through the charred remains. Stars of the Hills, Spencer Pratt and Heidi Montag too lost their home to the fires. In this neighborhood, an average home lists for more than $3 million, so you can imagine the financial losses suffered just in this part of LA. Prominent local landmarks have been damaged too. Palisades Charter High School, that featured in Teen Wolf, Carrie and Freaky Friday, was damaged by the Palisades fire. Its classrooms, bungalows, tennis courts, and the school's baseball field were all gone.
30% of Palisades High Charter School was destroyed. We were on site and could not believe what we were witnessing.
The Pasadena Jewish Temple and Center, founded in the early 20th century, told congregants that its buildings were lost to the fire. The police arrested those suspected of looting in the evacuated areas and indulging in arson. A nighttime curfew was imposed in areas hit by the devastating fires.
This curfew will be strictly enforced and is being taken to enhance public safety, protect property, and prevent any burglaries or looting in the area that the residents have evacuated. The only people that will be allowed in these areas are disaster workers.
Economic costs of the wild blazes are steep. In fact, they could turn out to be the costliest in American history. As per a preliminary estimate, economic losses from the infernos are set to be staggering.
AccuWeather's preliminary estimate for total damage and economic loss from the fast-moving, wind-driven infernos in Southern California is $135 to $150 billion in total damage and economic loss, a truly staggering number reflecting the scale of this horrible disaster across the Los Angeles metro area.
So was Los Angeles prepared for the wildfires? The simple answer is no. Los Angeles Mayor Karen Bass is under fire. She is facing intense questions about the region's lack of preparedness, her leadership in the crisis, and water-related issues. She is also facing criticism for being out of the country when the wildfires broke out. And before the fires broke out, the city's fire chief had warned in a memo that budget cuts were hampering the department's ability to respond to emergencies. Kristen Crowley pressed that point in an interview where she said the city of Los Angeles, and by implication her boss, Mayor Karen Bass, had failed her and her department. She went on to describe the fire department as understaffed and underfunded, saying the situation is no longer sustainable. But California's Democratic governor, Gavin Newsom, has denied there were budget cuts. What's making matters worse on ground is a water crisis that is hindering relief efforts. There is anger over fire crews' hoses running dry. Newsom has called for an independent investigation into the loss of water pressure to hydrants and also into why the Santa Ynez Reservoir was closed for maintenance and empty when the fire broke out. Charges of the city's poor preparedness and mishandling have fueled a political slugfest. Donald Trump pinned the blame on Newsom for the wildfires and called for his resignation. He blamed Newsom for refusing to sign a water restoration declaration that he said would have allowed millions of gallons of water from excess rain and snow melt from the north to flow daily into many parts of California, including the areas that are currently burning in a virtually apocalyptic way. Newsom hit back, saying fears that Trump could withhold federal relief funds were reasonable, and Trump was yet to return his call about wildfire response. Amid the blame game, US President Joe Biden announced the federal government would cover 100% of costs for the initial disaster response to the Los Angeles wildfires.
The winds have died down for the time. We expect they'll remain a threat until early next week. So we're going to keep working 24/7 to support state and local officials to fully stop these fires as soon as possible.
According to the White House, Biden approved a major disaster declaration allowing victims of the fire to immediately access funds and resources to start their recovery. Meanwhile, Newsom signed a broad executive order that aims to make it easier to rebuild after the fires. So what caused the fires? From power lines to old embers to arson, investigators, experts, and amateurs are looking for what sparked the fires. The ATF's National Response Team, one of the nation's most renowned units for investigating mass disasters, is handling the Palisades fire. Other city, county, and state agencies with fire investigation expertise are splitting the workload with the ATF, given the number of fires and the complexity of the work. Investigations into the cause of blazes, as large and intense as these, often take months, if not longer. For now, a combination of an exceptionally dry period with downtown Los Angeles receiving only 0.4 centimeters of rain since October tinder dry vegetation, and powerful offshore gusts known as the Santa Ana winds are believed to have created ripe conditions for the wildfires. Experts say climate change is increasing the likelihood of such fires. US government research links climate change to larger and more severe wildfires in the western US, but authorities can't shrug off the blame. As per a 2022 audit by the state of California, state utilities are not doing enough to lessen the risk of wildfires. Amid the tragedy, such scenes are winning hearts. It is in times of great tragedy that the spirit of unity, compassion, and resilience bounds communities. Volunteers are pouring out from everywhere, large donations are in place, and more are coming. Corporations are offering help of all kinds, from free rides for taxi hailing services to free emergency housing. Animal welfare organizations are active, wild animals and pets are being relocated. While it will be a long road ahead to recovery for Los Angeles, it's important that all sections of society do some soul-searching and take corrective action. People can make more conscious choices to prevent wildfires, since most of them are man-made, and authorities must plan and implement those plans better to save lives and livelihoods and minimize the cost of such disasters. That's all in this edition of Connecting the Dots. We'll see you in the next episode with more raging issues. Until then, it's a goodbye from all of us in the Delhi newsroom. This is Munmin Bhattacharya signing off. Take care and stay safe.